Albert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Rental Store. Thank you for joining us on episode 277 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom, I'm here with Trevor. What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, you know, it's going. It's funny because, it's always fun, interesting, like how our weeks shape up before we do the show.
Yeah.
And,
it's hard. This has definitely been one of those weeks where we were trying to find a time that worked, and it's real
challenging.
Real life makes it really hard to do this show. Not gonna lie.
It does. It does. And I don't know if you saw, Trevor, but I had thrown out on the Facebook group because I feel like this is always a challenge too, right? Like we do want to do a live show for Halloween. However, I don't always know what the best night of the week is for people to join us, because we like, when people join us live, when people are commenting, when people are watching it live. And so, to get the most out of it, I want to know when people want us to do it. And I think the last I looked, Friday night was winning, which I was surprised by because I feel like most people have plans Friday night. But I mean, whatever, we'll figure it out, right? So
but no, that's good to know, though. Friday makes the most sense. Let's plan for that.
Yeah, we'll probably do it like the week before Halloween or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because, again, the problem with the weekend of Halloween is it's very, there are people do parties. There is lots of stuff going on even leading up to Halloween. So, doing it a week before probably makes the most sense.
So maybe we'll say tentatively October 25th for which is the Friday before. So let's say that tentatively. Well, don't take our word for that yet. But like, if everybody out there, if that sounds good to you, then we'll look to do it then. So so we'll plan that. We're working on it. We'll get there. I promised we were going to do it this year, so we're going to do it this year. I think we just missed last year, but the year before we did it. So
I think last year again it was just a matter of timing, and because I know like you were especially busy with your schooling and stuff. So. I think the chances of it happening are a lot higher this year.
Yes, we're gonna make it happen. I promise.
Yeah.
All right. So I put out we had some questions from last episode. Well, 2 episodes ago, I guess now, because we did a wait list last week, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and we got a fair amount of good comments from it too. I thought it was a fun topic. So, So anyway, but we had some leftover questions.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start with so Jennifer. This is my wife.
I was going to say, you're not going to say who that is.
I know she put in some questions, and she was excited that we answered her questions, and so we got one last one here from her, which I'm going to have a conversation with her about this one. She says,
I was going to say, I'm shocked that your wife would even ask this question.
Yeah. So she said, would fixing the Yeti on Everest Expedition really make the ride better? Oh, honey. I mean, come on. So I think the hard part for her is that she doesn't ride rides like this anymore. And she did actually ride Everest. We got to ride it the first year it came out. So I did see the Yeti in action before it became Disco Yeti. I don't think she's seen Disco Yeti and seen exactly how bad it really is. So short and sweet, yes, it would make the ride better. It just I can say that purely from my own experience that yes, fixing the Yeti would make the ride better.
I could see that. I actually, I think I talked about this before. I was at Animal Kingdom as a park, its opening year, right? So like we just happened to go to Disney in it was like 1999, and so they opened in 1998. We were there in 1999, and so we were there, but Everest was not there yet. Like opening at Animal Kingdom had not a whole lot of stuff. Right.
Well, Kilimanjaro was the thrill ride.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was with the old Kilimanjaro. I'm sure you got to experience that. So
yes, I did. I did. I got to catch that right before they switched it, because I think they switched it in like 2008 or something like that. So they had like the whole storyline with the poachers and everything. Still,
that's when they were still doing the bridge that shook and everything. I'm still kind of mad they turned that off. They could still do that. I had it happen like 10 years ago, maybe, but since then it hasn't done the shaking thing that it used to do. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that, you know, our driver, when we went on at the one time, had everybody leaning to the opposite side, which was always funny. Like,
that's pretty funny.
Like we were convinced that like the truck was going to fall off. Because we never experienced anything like that with the first time that we went on that ride.
Well, it was always kind of hit or miss, because I feel like it wasn't always working. And maybe like if they were super busy, they would just skip over it, because like, I don't know, maybe it caused like things to back up or something. But you know, that the original version of Kilimanjaro Safaris, while kind of dark, was also kind of cool. You know, just the way they like the driver would interact with the radio, and like there was like a whole storyline, and
it was more production for sure.
Yeah. It was way more of a story. Now it's just like, hey, here's a reserve. We're going to go out on it with a truck, which is fine. Like, it's still great, but you know, there's a whole, there's a whole different thing. So,
but that's the whole thing with Everest too. Like kind of, you know, tying back to the question is that, you know, Everest actually has some really fantastic storytelling to it as well.
Yes.
Which is, you know, as you're walking through the queue, it's this whole thing about, you know, exploring, in the Himalayas, and, finding like all this Yeti stuff. Right. So like it definitely like builds up to like, oh boy, like, you know, there's something here. Right. And the Yeti is supposed to be the finale. Like, you know, like even starting the ride, like, you know, that there's a couple of elements that, you know, lead up to it. And like, you see a shadow and everything. And so you're like, you know, you're invested. And then the finale is literally just the strobe light thing. It really does hurt the ride for sure, because that is supposed to be the finale of the ride. So, yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's, you know, it's the same. Like if you go on like Navi River Journey and you get to the end of it, like, and that, you know, very impressive animatronic is not working. It's like, well, that's kind of a bummer. Like, kind of ruins it.
Yeah, if they've got it in B mode, where it's like it's just like a screen instead of the animatronic, right?
Yeah. Like it's always disappointing when something like that's not working. I also understand though that these are extraordinarily complicated pieces of machinery, and they break, and they're going to break. No matter how much maintenance you do to them, they're going to break. So, it is what it is. But I would it be worth, Trevor, like, what if they had to close down Everest for like 2 years to fix it? Like,
that's
it was
fine.
Just out for 2 years.
I mean, I would be fine with that, because, you know, I've hit a point with my Disney trips that I realize that I don't have to experience everything in every trip. So, you know, for me personally, it's like, if they close it down for 2 years, fine. I'll be back in, 2.5 years, and I'll get to see it when they fixed it. Right. So that doesn't bother me. I do understand that, it's hard to say that for people that, maybe are once in a lifetime or don't go nearly as often. But, and also, like we kind of talked about is, Animal Kingdom as a whole, it is a people eater as far as attractions go.
Oh yeah.
So it is a hard sell to say, this will not exist for 2 years, because that affects the rest of the park in a very negative way. Right. So,
well, and I think with all the work they're doing with, basically tearing down Dinosaur and getting rid of all of Dinoland, like there's no chance this is happening anytime soon.
No, but maybe after the South America stuff is done, that might be, I wouldn't be surprised if once things are kind of in motion with this new area, if they don't announce a closure of Everest.
I feel like, though, we've been doing maybe after with the Yeti for a while, right? It was like, maybe after Avatar they'll do it. And then like, maybe after, you know what I mean? It just feels like, I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, but I think again, it's further down the list, because the ride itself is still functional, I guess.
True.
That's probably one of the big selling points, or the selling points of keeping it open. And also, like, I mean, there's there's rides that get to a much worse state than Everest before they fix them. Like it's probably
Buzz Lightyear.
yeah, it's probably a matter of they're looking at it going, like, yeah, you're right. It's somewhere on a to-do list, but there's probably 10 other things that are, ahead of it right now. So
Did you see the I want to say it was Jeff suggested this in the group, but after our Marvel Land talk, his suggestion was to change Tomorrowland into Marvel Land.
I did see that.
And I thought about it and I was like, it's not a terrible idea, but does Marvel belong in Magic Kingdom? I don't think so. But that's just me. And also just you're going away from the Tomorrowland thing altogether. And I feel like every park has some sort of kind of Tomorrowland, even if it's not called Tomorrowland, it's kind of a Tomorrowland, like if you just throw Marvel in there, it's like,
I mean, to be fair, like they've done the overlays of Space Mountain in Disneyland, like, cause there's Hyperspace Mountain and all that. So, it's not far removed to put, to overlay IPs into Tomorrowland. I think as long as it was an overlay and that Tomorrowland didn't just become Marvel Land, like it could be a temporary thing. Like I think that's kind of where Jeff was going with it is, take some of the older rides in Tomorrowland and and things like Stitch Great Escape and, repurpose that into something Marvel centric makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense as a long-term thing. I feel like,
no,
Tomorrowland as a whole should not be just one giant IP. Like so it's fine that there is IP in Tomorrowland and, but it should all feed into the general theme of, looking forward in Tomorrowland, not just selling like, hey, Marvel, like,
yeah.
Which is funny because, Marvel is very futuristic if you think about it. Like the whole Avengers thing,
that's true.
With Iron Man, all that. It is very, very forward thinking and very futuristic. But I personally, I agree. I don't think that Magic Kingdom is the place for it as a permanent home.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. I also like, what do you do with Carousel of Progress, right? Because like they can't, no matter what, they're never getting rid of Carousel of Progress, right? Like I can't imagine they would do that. It's too classic Disney. It's like getting rid of Small World at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
that would, I mean, it would feel weird if they did get rid of it.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. We keep saying there's more to come, right? There's gonna be more things that get announced and they'll be soon enough, right? So let's answer Miranda's question because I think it's a really good one. What resort would be a good first resort for a new DVC member stay at Florida if their home resort is in California? So this is an interesting one, Miranda, because this is a tough question, and I feel like we've answered this kind of question before because it really comes down to your preferences, right? Like,
yes, like
Trevor would probably tell you Poly because Poly is right at Magic Kingdom. So like, if you want to like look at Magic Kingdom all day, Poly's a great place,
Yeah, but so here's the problem with that though. So yes, I agree. Yeah, I would, Poly would be my go-to, but that's for me. The thing to also factor in too is that it is. So, you're talking to somebody it's not their home resort. So they're looking at 7-month availability. True. Not to say that Poly is hard to get availability for, but you also need to look at the point values as well. Depending on how many points this person has, there are different resorts that could get you more bang for your buck and still meet some, I guess, like you said, there are definitely requirements for, what kind of area do you want to be in, or do you even care about that? Because I mean, if you didn't care about being near a park in particular, Old Key West and Saratoga Springs are your go-to. They're the cheapest per points per night.
That's true.
Yeah. And they also, the availability on they're the biggest. They are the biggest DVC resorts. So the chances of getting availability there is very high. So at a 7-month. So So I mean, yes, those are kind of your default go-to, but then I would actually say, if you were looking for something near Magic Kingdom, I would actually explore the Wilderness Lodge hotel.
Ooh,
or
okay.
Wilderness Lodge DVC areas, which is Boulder Ridge and Copper Creek, because it's split into two, just because of how those came online. And the thing is that Wilderness Lodge, it is close enough to Magic Kingdom, and you also do have the boat access, so it does have that nice direct line to Magic Kingdom, but it's also far enough away that it feels I really do like Wilderness Lodge because it's the mirror of the Grand Californian.
Well, it's one of my favorite resorts. I
like both of those resorts. And the thing is that it's close enough that you can get to Magic Kingdom easily, but then also getting to the other resorts is not hard because like from where it is, buses. I know we sometimes get on the bus system, but the bus system is reliable enough that like you can hit all the parks from somewhere like Wilderness Lodge without any real issues. So, I would lean towards that probably as my first experience. And then, if you're really like, I'm going to be at Hollywood Studios and Epcot a lot, I think
Boardwalk's a great option.
Well, Boardwalk or even Riviera.
Riviera is a great option because you have the Skyliner station there. Yeah.
But again, I haven't looked at the point charts too closely on Riviera. I don't know how close they are to
pricey.
So I feel like they're up there with like in the same area as Grand Floridian and the Poly, but that may there's it really depends on what you're wanting. Like if you're just wanting to have the longest stay, Saratoga. If you have a particular area you want to be near, look at those resorts that are near the area that you want. Because it's not a simple answer.
It really isn't. I almost feel like it's so much nicer in California because you don't really have much of a choice. Where Disney World, much choice.
You do, but everything funnels into the same two parks. So so really it's just a matter of, do you want to be really close to the park or a little bit further away? Like
I just mean DVC wise, there's only, the couple resorts here. There's a lot of resorts. Yeah. So like, and to Trevor's point, Miranda, like if you love Animal Kingdom or you just love animals in general, I've talked about it many times on the show. I stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge a lot. We really love it. And I don't know if you have kids coming with you or, smaller kids, really even adults. Honestly, it's one of those great resorts where if you go back to the resort, there's still stuff to do because you can just sit out on your balcony and watch the animals. Now, again, that's going to be more points. So it really depends on kind of what you're trying to do here. Are you trying to stretch your points the furthest? Are you wanting to, and I don't know what kind of room category you even want to stay in. You didn't mention that either. So if it's, a studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, grand, that all varies a lot too. But, if I were to recommend, if you like Animal Kingdom a lot, stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge. If you are going to do Hollywood Studios or Epcot, I say Boardwalk for that, or Riviera. Riviera is a good choice too, just because of the dedicated Skyliner stop. And if you're going to do Magic Kingdom, I'd love Wilderness Lodge, and we'll always, say Wilderness Lodge is my favorite of the Magic Kingdom area resorts. So, those would be my suggestions. And that's Trevor, kind of seems like we're on the same page there too. So,
yeah. I said, I know, yes, my favorite is by and far the Poly. I love staying at the Poly and always will, but I also understand why it doesn't work for everybody, especially like you touched on, right now, the room types are very limited. Obviously that is going to be changing here, but, if it doesn't fit your family type, it's off the table anyway. But then, the Grand Floridian's right there too, which again, the problem all comes down to, are you wanting to stay for a week or are you only staying for 5 days? Because, you may be able to only afford 5 days if you're staying at the Grand Floridian. Whereas if you stay at one of the other resorts that have less points per night, and it also depends on your time of year too. Like, looking at the points charts, some weeks are better than others for how many points you can get per night. So, that all does play into it as well. Like I do want to point out too, like, so if you look at Saratoga or Oak Key,
They are great resorts, but just note that they are very spread out. They're very large. They're also not like a traditional kind of some of these other DVC resorts. They're outside entry into your room. So it's not, you don't have the big grand lobby that you walk into and then you go to your room. Like that's so like, and some people aren't okay with that. Like, I know some people that don't do outside entry resorts. They just won't do that. They don't like that idea. They like the idea of being inside the building, which I get, but just keep that in mind, keep that.
And yeah, I guess I've not stayed at either of those resorts, but I have stayed at Caribbean Beach, which is like the thing about Saratoga and Old Key West is that they are designed very similar to a moderate resort, which, like you said, it's outside entry to all the rooms. It's very large and spread out. Saratoga is like like Caribbean Beach. When we stayed there, it was, figuring out like the bus route through the resort. There's actually like 5 stops throughout the resort. Yeah. So it was figuring out, do you walk across the resort to get on to the last bus so that you're not, doing the full loop, or like, so like you are playing more games with like getting to and from your room is not simple. It's not just, you get dropped off here and you walk to your room. It's like, well, you could wait on the bus to get dropped off closer to your room, or do you get off sooner, maybe stop at the, quick service on your way to the room or whatever. Right. Like that's not like, it's not the worst thing, but it definitely does change your perspective and planning too, because, for me, it's like, hey, if I'm going to Magic Kingdom from the Poly, I know I can be over there in like 20 minutes. Like that's not hard. Yeah. But, if I'm staying at Saratoga, it may be more like an hour or whatever, because like if you're taking the bus. So, and then, if you're not, if you're driving, that may factor in as well. Because, driving changes the Disney experience too. So
it does. Yeah. Especially at Old Key and Saratoga, where you can pull right up to your door. And actually, I've always said this, one of my favorite things about Animal Kingdom Lodge is that that the parking is underneath the building. So it's like a parking garage underneath the building. So your car is pretty close by and it's in the shade, which is nice.
Yeah. That's huge. Especially in Florida, that is huge. Yeah,
it is. And so Miranda, though, if you want to give us like a follow-up at some point of like, what your preferences are, like we can probably answer this even better, but like, or throw it out to the group too. I mean, the group is great for that kind of thing. And they, other people can chime in on their favorites. I'm sure some other people would say Beach Club too. I didn't put Beach Club in. It's because one of my few that I have not stayed at. So
that goes down to the 7-month thing too, is that, Beach Club is extremely hard to get at 7 months because it does get booked up. And saying like Boardwalk is kind of the same problem.
It's tough
where it's hard to get certain room types. So
it is. Yeah. It just depends on what you want. Like, there's the quiet and the serene. There's in the middle of all the action. There's, there's so many different kinds of options, and it just depends on how you like to vacation,
Yeah. So, I think we kind of covered a lot of different scenarios, but whatever you and your family is after the most, like that, I think that's probably the questions you have to answer first is, what are you really wanting to get out of this? And then that kind of drives you towards options or if the answer is even, I don't care, then it's, well, maybe you just go with, it's as simple as how long do you want to be there? And then it just goes down to points per night. Right.
Yeah. All right. So I like that Jeff stole a question from another podcast for us to answer because, I'm all for stealing material. This is great. So Jeff said, I heard this on a different podcast and I thought it was a pretty fun question. If you found and rubbed the lamp, the genie came out and gave you 3 wishes that you could only use to change 3 things with DVC, what would they be and why?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you got some, Tom, or do you want me to go first?
I mean, I've got some. I can give you one here. How about we go 1 and 1? We'll go back and forth. So
okay, sure.
Let's go back to the days where tickets were included with DVC.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you just want tickets included?
I just want tickets to be included with our DVC membership. Yeah.
Okay. So I would kind of in similar line. My first wish would be that the dining discount extended to quick service.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's pretty valuable.
I think the DVC members should get free. What is it called now? Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on it? The free, not Genie Plus anymore. Why am I like multipass? Free multipass.
Free multipass. Okay.
Yeah. DVC members should get free multipass. I just think they should. Yeah.
Okay.
Most of mine are aligned with having free things, Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, so okay, so I did have an I totally lost it. I had a couple of these lined up because I read this earlier and I thought about it, and you're gonna have to give me a minute because
no, that's fine. I can do my third one if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so my third one, and this is kind of my fault, but still, I would love if I could manage my 2 different use years in a better way. And so what I mean by that is, and anybody out there that has 2 use years knows it's a pain, right? Because if I want to make a reservation, like I have to transfer points from one contract to the other, and like just the management of that is a pain. Like I wish I could just use them all as one bucket of points and that they weren't a separate thing. I understand why they're separate. I get it, but it's just it's a pain, and I wish it could be easier.
Right. Okay, I remembered what my I had another solid one. I wish that all of the existing DVC rooms would be retrofitted. That the ones that don't have dishwashers in them, would be retrofitted so that they all have dishwashers with reusable, plates and cutlery and all that. Because that's actually a big for me. That's an issue for sure at staying at the Polynesian in the studio, because they just have the small kitchenette, and it's like it's paper plates and bowls and stuff, which is like the same stuff you get at like the quick service, which I get why they do that, and it's not a big deal. You can always get more if you need to, but just having proper so I guess the way that wish it amounts to like the general quality of the room experience, right? So I'm not just thinking about like where you can get free stuff, but also hey, the room should be more functional than it would be. so that would be my second wish, and then the third wish, I think I was actually thinking along the same lines as you with the park tickets. But
I can give you one, Trevor, if you want an extra one. That because I had a fourth one in my head.
Okay,
Skyliner stations at every DVC resort.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah,
going everywhere.
But that's not like DVC centric. But I guess unless they specifically like no, these are only going to DVC resorts.
Yes, only DVC resorts.
None of the value resorts get any extra accessibility, which really I think. I guess there's also like Coronado and Port Orleans and stuff that but the DVC resorts should have more Skyliners. Absolutely.
What about dedicated buses for the DVC resorts that are like that don't share with any other resort? That are just you kind of have that already. I guess.
I don't know that really doesn't. Like, even though like my bus, like the Polynesian, I say my bus, like it's my private bus. Come on, people.
I mean, you pay for it. So
well, no, but
your dues pay for it. Your dues, there's a transportation portion of the budget. Your dues pay for it.
So mine goes between the Polynesian and Grand Floridian, and I'm not too bothered by that. Like I understand why the bus is shared between them. So that part doesn't bother me all that much. But having Skyliners though, like what I would really love is, like I can get to Hollywood Studios without getting on a bus at this point from the Polynesian. It does like obviously I have to go through Epcot to do it. So like right now you actually need like a park ticket if you want to actually get around without using the bus. It would be nice, like you said, if there was. If there was a Skyliner that went straight from the Polynesian to Animal Kingdom, or even like if I had to hop one stop or whatever, but I would love for I know I already said the buses are solid at Disney, but they do have their limitations. They can get really rough when it's busy and whatnot. It would be nice to just be able to hop on a Skyliner and go wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's actually a great wish. I forgot that I think that kind of fell off my radar because they haven't talked about it in a while, and I feel like, I mean, Disney's got a lot of stuff going on with like the parks and stuff, and it feels like the transportation has taken a back seat. Like it seems like they're looking at and going, well, it's good enough right now, but it's like you could put in a lot more Skyliners. But I think people need to complain more about the transportation before that happens.
Yeah, it's fair. Well, speaking of Polynesian, Trevor, we got some more details on my the next Disney resort that I'm staying at, which is going to be the Island Tower.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're getting we're just a little bit out now from the opening on December 17th. So this is coming up. We do now know what the base price is going to be for the Island Tower, and no surprise here, it's $225 per point, which is pretty consistent with the past couple of resorts that they've done. As of right now, there's no promotional offers out, but they probably will be at some point. They just haven't announced them yet. So interestingly enough, they also released another thing, Trevor, and it's the third link on here of kind of showing the timeline here. But on October 1st, sales are going to begin for current DVC members. So if you're a current DVC member looking to add on, you can do that on October 1st. And then also current and add-on Disney Vacation Club members at Polynesian can book with vacation points. So Trevor, you could book at this place starting October 15th. So there's that. And then October 29th, sales open to the public. November 5th, new members can book. So it's nice they're giving DVC members existing members a jump on the booking, which is, obviously good.
And I mean, they absolutely should. Like,
yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, it's not really that much of a jump because sales really don't even open to the public until the 29th, and you're not going to finish really anything by then. So,
yeah.
But anyway, all new members can book with vacation points on the 19th of November, and then December 17th, it opens. We've also got some new pictures. Oh, not really new pictures. I think these are the same pictures that we've seen, right? Of each room type.
Yeah.
But I really like this graphic though, because it has like a hidden monorail in it, and it has like a castle in it, and also like I think a thing that's going with the Polynesian resort, like representing the Polynesian resort too. I don't know if you're looking at what I'm looking at, Trevor, but
I am. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. They are. I don't think the view will be exactly what they're implying there, but. Yeah. I feel like there's a little bit of Photoshop shenanigans going on.
well, yeah, no. I mean, I think they're definitely, the monorail is obvious there, right? But
yeah, yeah, for sure.
That's pretty obviously the monorail. And the second symbol is, the third symbol I think is pretty much just is like a castle, But anyway, so I'm excited for this to open. I think it'd be nice to get this going. We also do have point charts as well now, Trevor.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at these, which. So the studio points line up with it's the same point values as if you were staying at the old Polynesian studios, which is good. I'm glad that they're not like separating those, like a studio is still a studio.
Yeah.
The duo studios are actually, I guess I kind of knew this, like the duos are actually pretty cheap as far
really
as
reasonable.
Like,
yeah.
Like if you're only traveling, you and a spouse, like these are, you could get a lot of value out of staying in a duo studio. But then I also know that, people say that they can be kind of cramped. Like there's not a ton of space in the duo studios.
Yeah. They're small.
And then, looking at, like the 1 and 2 bedroom villas, I guess they're not quite, or I guess they are about double the points of a studio.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, because the weird thing is that, actually this is kind of funny. The deluxe studio in the old building says sleeps up to 5, is the same points as the deluxe studio in the tower, which only sleeps up to 4.
Yeah.
So I guess the tower studios are actually not as good value as the old studios, which my concern with that is that people are going to be like, people who are in that demographic, we're going to have more people fighting for studio inventory at, I don't want to assume that there's a lot of families that, want, like, up to 5 people that, want to be in, like, or
I think it's going to take.
You see what I mean?
Away,
like
though,
it's
from the old one.
Yeah,
right?
I guess
easier,
smaller. If there is a family of 4, they will. Yeah, I guess people will be looking at the tower because it is new and shiny and all that. I'm just worried about how that'll play in the future. People will be like, just trying to get the old ones because, like, in my mind, the old ones are slightly better just because they actually have a little bit more space and the accessibility of it. And I should really stop talking about that because people don't necessarily know how convenient some of the studios are.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, if you want to flip from, if you only got 5 people and you want to flip to a 1-bedroom villa, you need double the amount of points. So
yeah, and 1-bedrooms are generally, to me, not a very good value, right? Because you're only sleeping one extra person, right? Like, it's helpful to have separate space, but it's, I don't know. 1-bedrooms are a little tricky to me because it's not that much more. You're just getting one, and for how much more they charge as far as points go,
right.
For like if I'm looking, the week I went this past year was, the first week of May, right? So that one weekly for a theme park view studio is 190 points, but for a 1-bedroom, it's 343 points. So you're talking, it's pretty big jump, right? It's It's not double, but close to it, right? So, it's just, which is, I get it. It's fine. I would probably, if we stay here, we're going to stay at a studio anyway, right? So, because there's only 3 of us in my family, so we would stay in a studio most likely, and that would be fine for us. And 190 is not unreasonable. I feel like for the week at a studio, a theme park view studio, that's not terrible. And
and that's kind of why we stay at the at the studio, because it, like, point wise, it's not super expensive, and we have enough points that we can always stay there for a week, so it works out nicely. But then same kind of thing, if we wanted to go out to a 1-bedroom villa, well, I could do that once every 2 years, so I could bank points and I could stay at a 1-bedroom villa comfortably. And then the 2-bedroom, I would definitely need to be renting points if I wanted to stay at the 2-bedroom,
because points for a couple of years.
Because that does scale up. That almost does that double again? No, it doesn't quite.
It's
double.
Like 3 times a studio, basically.
Yeah, it's like 1.5 times that of a 1-bedroom.
Yeah,
villa.
So it's basically 3 times a 2-bedroom is basically 3 times the studio.
Yeah. So I guess the nice thing about this is that there is actually a scale now. Like before, it was either deluxe studio or bungalow, and the bungalows are just nuts. Like for one night, the cheapest rate of the year for one night is 112 points for a single night, whereas a 2-bedroom villa in that same area, like if you're going with a standard view, it's 86 points per night. Or actually, it's funny it's premium, and then premium and TP what's TP?
Yeah. So they've got standard view, preferred view, premium view, and then theme park view.
Oh,
so it looks like theme park. Yeah, it's TP.
So non-theme park and theme park 2-bedroom villas do have it's about a 20 point per night difference, which again is pretty substantial, like when you start thinking about it.
You could get a 2-bedroom all the way down to 352 if you don't care about the view. That's only 9 points higher than and again, I'm just looking at this one particular area, but you're talking about you could jump from a 1-bedroom theme park view to a 2-bedroom standard view for 9 more points. If you don't care about your view, 352 is not terrible for a 2-bedroom.
Yeah, that is fair. Like I said, at the end of the day, it is a matter of scale and a matter of obviously there's different families with different requirements, different needs. It's good that there is I was kind of worried that the tower would be like, the tower's here, but it's just like by default way more expensive than the studios, but it does make like the jumps do make sense. And it does, like, looking at it's like, if I really wanted to, I could go and stay at the tower, and
Yeah.
it would be fine. Like it's, I'm still not, I know you keep shaking your head at me. You're like, why would you not stay at the tower? It's new. It's like, but I'm fine where I am.
I know you are. I know. It just looks so nice. Every time I see a picture of it, I'm just like, man, they really like went over the top with this one, right? Like, well,
I'm planning to explore it when I'm there in May. Like I have, mentioned it to my brother, and I know there's going to be like, food options and stuff in there. So at the very least, we'll go over and, check it out and see what, see how it all looks. And, like you said, it's great that, this gives, your family more options that,
oh yeah. Yeah.
You can go there and check it out and whatnot. Like I said, I know, for me and my wife, like at some point we're going to be traveling just the two of us. And, if we want to stay a little bit longer, I may actually be able to convince her to stay in a dual studio. Yeah. I'm sure she's going to hear this and she's going to turn around. Like, so it's okay. Just so everyone knows how this plays out is that, we record these episodes and my wife listens to them. Like as you guys are listening to them, I don't actually tell her what we talked about on the episodes. Usually, like I tell her high level, but it's like, she'll listen to this and then like, I'll catch this like up to a week later. Cause like she'll listen throughout the week as she's at, coming to and from work and whatnot. All of a sudden she'll come home and she'll be like, I'm not staying in a duo studio. And I'll be like, okay.
Like, wait, I don't even remember saying that.
What did I say? and then I do have to go back and think about it and go, oh, right. We talked about that on the podcast. So, maybe we will stay at a duo studio someday. Maybe we won't. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah. By the way, I should mention that the definitions of the room type standard is other areas of the resort, such as gardens or parking areas. Okay, so that's probably the back side of the building.
Yeah, right? the entire back side of the building is standard view because it's facing the road behind there's a road that runs and there was the Shades of Green golf course, but I think that's been all under construction for a while, so I don't even know what that's going to look like. But
but then also preferred includes at least a partial view of lakes, pools, or the golf course. So maybe the standard is just the ones on the side where you just basically are getting a view of like nothing,
Mm-hmm.
So which is fine.
Other buildings, yeah.
And then premium is at least partial views of Seven Seas Lagoon, and then theme park, of course, is at least a partial view of Magic Kingdom. So.
Yeah, I love how they qualify, at least partial view, which means, you could end up on the end where like you have to like stick your head out over the rail and like look to see Magic Kingdom. And that's still technically a preferred view. But yeah.
All right. Yeah. Like you said, though, I'm glad that they kind of match the studio points to the regular poly because it just makes it kind of,
there's no debating it, right? Like there's
exactly.
Well, I want a studio. Well, but you want this studio? Like it's like no,
you could choose. It's fine.
This is where I want the studio. And the thing is that like when you're for anyone who's not booked, I know specifically at the Poly, you can make room requests specific to the building you want to stay in. So like because currently there's 3 different buildings, and I'm sure this will add on to it that you can say I want to stay at the tower. I want to stay at one of the other buildings. So, you can like, I guess there is no guarantee that you'll always get the building that you want, but, there is, whatever one you get, like it's not like you're technically losing by getting one or the other. Right. But like I said, the only thing to be aware of is that the tower studios, like if you have a family of 5, they won't be able to put you into a tower studio because those only sleep up to 4. You would actually go into one of the other buildings. So, keep that in mind. But also if I had a family of 5, I don't know that I would necessarily want to be staying in a studio all the time because
I would. Even with how big those Poly studios are now, a 5 in there is still probably not going to be a lot of fun.
and I'll admit, like on our last trip, there's just 3 of us, and we were staying in a Poly studio. But it was easier when my son was younger. Like when he was smaller, like he would stay in the flip down bed, in front of the TV, and stuff. And now, like he's using the other pull down bed. And, even with 3 of us, I've noticed as he's getting bigger, that amount of space, like it's okay, but you know, even for three of us, it feels like not enough. If there was two more people in there, I don't know how comfortable I would feel staying in there, right? Like, but again, that's knowing if it's all kids, it's like, kids are easier to appease in terms of, a small amount of space. Whereas if it was like 5 adults staying in there, or like, teenagers to adults, I can see where that just would not work. Like it's,
No,
and that's where, at the very least, a 1-bedroom villa where you've got like different, like it's just that separation of space, right? Like that's the biggest problem, is that the studios don't have like, other than going into the bathroom, there's no separated space that you have. So, think about that as you're booking these rooms yourself, right? Like it does matter, especially with teenagers.
Especially with teenagers.
Yeah.
Why don't we go ahead and do our ad?
Yeah.
All right, the sponsor of this episode is DVC Rental Store. The DVC Rental Store, a World of DVC company, offers magical vacations at incredible value. Save up to 60% off retail rates at premium Disney resorts. DVC Rental Store now includes deposits as low as 25% at the time of booking and a built-in cancellation policy for every reservation. And as always, DVC Rental Store pays out the most to members looking to rent their points. Want to learn more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com/welcome home or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 1-855-382-7368. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you. All right.
Okay.
So.
All right. So we're still talking about buildings, but we're going to switch it up to
Cotino.
Cotino, yeah, which is the storytelling Disney community.
We're getting another Incredibles movie, right? Didn't they announce that, right?
Did they? I don't remember anymore.
Am I making that up in my head?
Maybe.
No, I swear.
Oh, no, but the reason we're talking about Incredibles is that so in Cotino, this is the one in California, right? Just so I'm clear on this.
Yes. By the way, there is an Incredibles 3 they announced at D23, so I wasn't imagining that.
All right. So they're building the Parr House, which I think this is their house from Incredibles 2.
Yeah, it's Incredibles 2. It's the one that they're borrowing from the guy, from the rich guy, right? Yeah.
So this is a very impressive house. I'm just gonna put this out there, like
an impressive recreation, right? Like but this isn't even supposed to be somebody's house, though, right? I think this is like the clubhouse for the neighborhood.
Is this the community center? Or?
Yeah, it is. Okay. It's
where it's even better. Yeah.
It's the multifunctional space where club members can attend events, celebrate milestones, and enjoy the occasional overnight stay. Oh, okay, interesting.
Oh, so there's like a space you can rent in there, I guess,
which is interesting.
Yeah,
but I mean, it looks just like the movie.
Which I mean, it's a beautiful house. Like it's that like I'm sorry, I'm terrible with like architecture designs, but I feel like it's like a 60s art deco
60s
kind of thing.
I don't know what I would call it either, Trevor, but it's very cool how it's and they have the big windows up front, like the big windows looking out over like the water feature that they have in the neighborhood. And they have that kind of furniture. Oh yeah, look, okay, now I'm going by here and I'm seeing the bedrooms that they have in the back. This is interesting that it's a clubhouse, but also has a bedroom or two in it, which like, how does that work? Did you just like rent it out?
Who's looking after those, I guess is the question.
That's
because it's run by a community association. So that means that they have to have somebody like making like, because I would be mad if I showed up to like use this room and like somebody had just like trashed it, the night before or whatever, right? Like
Trevor, it's mid-century modern. It says it further in the
mid-century modern. That's
mid-century modern. Yes,
that's the term. Okay,
yeah, that would be the correct term. So the interesting thing they were saying though here too is that they actually, when they originally designed that house, they had used the area where they're building this as inspiration for the architecture, and now they're building it in the place that they use for inspiration. So, which is kind of, I mean, I guess makes sense. It kind of, fits in there, but it is a very striking building. And so it's not something I feel like I have ever seen before. So
a lot of glass.
Yeah.
That's again, I'm glad that this isn't, or well, if this was my actual house, like glass drives me nuts because fingerprints, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like if you have like a glass top table, it's like just always fingerprints that you're wiping off of it. And when I look at like the, the railing on the stairs in this concept video, yeah, everything's glass. And, again, I'm sure it'll look beautiful until, somebody's kids presses their hands and their face up against it. And you just got all the handprints up the glass everywhere.
I have to say too, what's interesting about this is there's not a single overt reference to the Incredibles anywhere in here that I've seen so far. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very understated. Like it's definitely the house, but it's not like hitting you over the head with, this is the Incredibles house. Like, but I feel like because it's a community center and, part of like an actual community, I know people moving into a Disney run community or a Disney inspired community are kind of expecting that, but I think there's degrees of it. And I feel like, if it was over the top Incredibles, people get tired of that real quick. I agree.
And it would take away from it. Whereas this is like, it's showing off the architecture from the movie and that kind of design. And I feel like, it'll hit a point where, even if people aren't thinking about the movie, they'll still be like, oh, this is just a very nice space.
Yeah. It's
right?
more timeless. Like, it's more timeless without the IP in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not everything needs the IP, bonking you over the head.
Yeah. I do have to say one of the cool things is the fountain on the outside of the building, on the glass. Did you see that? There's like a fountain. There's like rocks that are built into the glass on the left side of it, and there's a waterfall coming out of it, which is pretty cool. Oh, it's got a very nice look to it.
I didn't notice that, or I guess I didn't see that there was the waterfall on the outside. I just saw the rock structure on the inside.
Yeah, it continues the rock from the inside to the outside, and then there's the waterfall to it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're talking about these things like we'll ever get to see them, but we won't.
I mean,
yeah, it's cool.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll end up in California at some point.
You never know.
Looking at this, but yeah, probably not. But yeah, I guess the funny thing will be is that this will get built and people will forget about it, and then you'll see like in 5 years or whatever, somebody will be like, oh my God, this place looks like, the house from The Incredibles. It's like, because
it was supposed to. Yeah. All right. Do you want to talk about Jollywood Nights, some more Jollywood Nights stuff that's come out?
Yeah. Even though I know it's not even Halloween yet, but I guess we're talking about Christmas.
Yeah, we're on Christmas. We're on Christmas already. So listen, I remember, and I'm sure you remember this too, Trevor, when Jollywood Nights first started, there was some heavy criticism on that one. Because it's a paid after party, right? It's a paid party, right? And it should have a lot of things to it. And apparently Jollywood Nights didn't have a lot of stuff going on, and it wasn't very organized. And, in true Disney style, they've taken this feedback to heart, and they have really spent a lot of time, it feels like, working on new entertainment and really working on making this a different kind of event. And so for those that don't know, the Jollywood Nights is November 9th to the 21st. One of the things they just announced fairly recently is a new skating show, an ice skating show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, part of me is like, okay, but it's like Florida though. Like, they're going to be using like that fake ice, right? Like it's not going to be like real ice.
Well, unless it's in a building where they can keep it temperature controlled.
So that's what I thought too, Trevor. But then I watched the video they have in this article, and it seems like they're doing it right in front of the Chinese theater.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Based on the video. I mean, that's what I gathered from the video, but I could be wrong.
So you're going to have people doing ice skating on a fake surface with it's like a plastic ice skating rink, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, if we don't know the difference, does it matter? I don't know.
Yeah, but I guess, but there is something to be said for like, on proper ice. I I only know this because, my wife used to be heavily invested in figure skating, and or like when she was a kid, she actually did figure skating. She paid attention to it throughout the years. The thing is that they I feel like it will limit their ability to do certain things because, the surface plays differently than
it does
how ice plays, right? So I feel, obviously understanding that, yeah, it is Florida and they can't have real ice out there. I wonder how that's going to affect the actual performances. If you'll get and that's not to say I guess they don't have to necessarily be Olympic tier figure skating going on, but you just finished mentioning how Jollywood Nights was previously felt kind of uninspired. If you don't get a good quality show from the figure skating, that could actually detract from people's impression of Jollywood Nights as a whole. So it's kind of a weird thing that I see where fine that that's what they have to do, and I'm sure Disney is always good at making it work where however they need to, but I guess we'll see how these performers fare with skating on not real ice.
to be fair, Trevor, the cruise I just went on, they had an ice skating show on the cruise ship. So, which I thought was nuts to me. I was like, this boat is rocking all over the place. How are you going to go do your, triple axle?
But they were
good though.
Because those things, there's a lot involved in ice skating that people don't realize.
But it does say, by the way, the skating show is right on Hollywood Boulevard, so it is outside. So
okay.
I mean,
right.
I don't know. Maybe Disney has some sort of crazy fake thing. I don't know.
I'll look forward to seeing how videos of that play, and like I said, it's not that it has to be Olympic tier, but that I guess they're advertising it. That it says right here that it'll be breathtaking routines set to a vibrant holiday soundtrack. So,
right, yeah,
I mean,
it's called Glisten. By the way, we didn't say it. It's called Glisten.
Glisten, yeah. Which does plastic glisten?
I mean, if it's maybe
snow,
I guess.
like ice, yeah. I guess.
I feel like I want to Google ice skating rink in the heat, and find out how this works. But
yeah, I guess I've only ever, and I guess this is truly a Canadian problem, is that I've only ever watched ice skating on actual ice.
Yeah.
So I'm having a hard time visualizing how you could actually effectively skate on not ice, because I knew I'm very aware of how you can catch edges and stuff on ice. And I feel like a plastic surface, you're not, how are you actually digging into it? Right.
I mean, they could also possibly, there are refrigerated rinks that you can get for outside, right? You can get an outside refrigerated rink that they could bring in. But
even in the Florida heat, would it survive?
Well, I guess you're hoping by November the Florida heat is, this, according to the internet, you can do it at temperatures up to 68 degrees. But it can get pretty hot still in November, December. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Sorry. Winter in Florida is still summer here, which we don't have outdoor rinks in the summer here for that reason.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Okay, so that was really the only really new thing here, right? Because there's a lot of they have a lot of the same stuff going on here. They have this really impressive Nightmare Before Christmas show. I know you don't like it, like that IP, but I don't. I've watched clips.
I don't like the Haunted Mansion stuff. I get that Nightmare Before Christmas is still a thing, and fine. If they're doing a cool show around it, it looks like they're doing some puppeteering.
The Jack Skellington puppet is very cool. If you've ever seen a video of it, it's pretty cool. So, there's that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there's dance parties going on. There's an all new Pixar themed dance party with Frozone, Joy, Edna Mode, and other Pixar pals. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That seems generic, but it's funny that the Edna Mode thing's become such a thing,
People like Edna. She's an endearing character.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she'll be in the third one, hopefully. So
Oh, she better be.
She has to be. Yeah, she has to be the third one. Can you imagine if they made another one and they didn't have Edna in it? Like people would be mad. Mm-hmm. Oh, also new this year, Jose and Panchito from the Three Caballeros will be there as well, which is so great.
So this is specifically a Latin street fair.
Yes,
that they're talking. So this is not part of the other dance party. So they're actually there's multiple
different parties.
Multiple dance parties, and this one is Latin themed, and you'll have Jose and Panchito adding to it, which that's cool. Like
that's pretty cool.
I do like seeing them bring in stuff like that, where you get different multicultural takes on the holidays, because it's always neat to see how it plays in different areas of the world, and it's. I get what you're saying is, they needed to do something other than, being like, oh, here's Jollywood Nights, and like most of Hollywood studios is like empty. So they're trying to work on that for sure.
Yeah, it's also nice that they have like different areas depending on like kind of the vibe you're going for, right? Because they also have a laid back but like more like sophisticated kind of thing at the Brown Derby, where they're going to have like a live piano player, and you can kind of just like hang and eat and stuff like that, and that's if that's your vibe, you can do that. Or if you want to do the fun Lenten street festival, you can go do that. Or if you want to do one of the other street dance parties, like just over the top fun silly dance party, then you can go to the Pixar one. Like they're giving you options, which is always good.
Yeah.
Right. So then Jingle Bell Jingle Bam's back. They moved it back further. I did see that they always have all the photo ops. I'm seeing Duffy floating around here.
Christmas Duffy.
Yeah, Christmas Duffy. Who cares about Duffy?
So under the photo ops section, I do see there's a piece here about something. It says stepping behind the scenes of the Muppets Christmas Carol set. So it sounds like they're going to have they're going to have something specific to Muppets Christmas Carol for a photo op.
Yeah,
which I mean, my wife would be excited for that because she loves Muppets Christmas Carol. I think it's fantastic as well. That's the first I've seen of them specifically calling out that as a photo op, though.
Yeah. No, I don't remember them calling that out either. So, and then also they're going to have Bo Peep and Lotso meetings, and then Phineas and Ferb, or Santa Stitch and Santa Duffy. So there you go. Lots of greetings, and also my favorite, most exciting thing is the Gertie cookie. Even though it looks like such a basic cookie, but I think everybody knows on here that I love Gertie. So Gertie is like one of my very first Disney memories. Like when I was, a lot younger, I always remember Gertie. I don't know why. Probably because I loved dinosaurs when I was a kid. But
I mean, dinosaurs are cool. Like,
that's great. Right?
I get it. I grew up in an area. So in Alberta, Canada, we have Drumheller, which is like one of the dinosaur capitals of the world. That like the amount of they have an entire. Look at the Tyrrell Dinosaur Museum if you want to see how serious they are about it.
Then the last thing we have on here that I think is relevant is the food. So they're going to have empanadas with street corn, which I love street corn. I don't know if you do street corn, but those are always good.
I like street corn. Street corn is good.
But the interesting one here is that everybody's going to get a pack of marshmallows from the company Wonder Made, which I think they have a booth over at Disney Springs where they sell their marshmallows. But they're going to be 6 champagne flavored marshmallows in a Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy themed box. It's a nice looking box. Yeah,
it is. But
yeah,
I'm trying to think what champagne flavored marshmallows are going to taste like, though. I've never thought to put champagne and marshmallows together.
Me either, but it's kind of cool that they're giving that out, though. I like that idea.
It's nice that it's I think everybody, as much as these experiences are great, it's also nice to kind of come away with something. Yeah. At the end of the night, like because this is competing with the Very Merry Christmas Party and Not So Scary Halloween, like, and those events all, like, as much as there's all the the things to do, it's like as you're going around the events, you know, they're giving out like, you know, cookies and candy and stuff like that. And so I think they figured that, you know, you got to do something. Like it doesn't have to always be like a, you know, an ornament or something like that, but at the very least, yeah, you know, some marshmallows that I can eat on my way out of the park or whatever. Like that.
You need a snack later, you know. Just
I
some
mean,
marshmallows.
I mean that's kind of like when we go to the Very Merry Christmas Party, we that's kind of the same thinking. Is it's like, you know, we go there knowing that, you know, I'm not necessarily there to buy stuff, but it's like I will hit up the gingerbread cookies and the hot chocolate and stuff because. Yeah. You know, not to say that I want hot chocolate in the middle of Florida all the time, but their hot chocolate's good. And, you know, sometimes you just need that energy kick, and, you know, marshmallows give you that. They give you that sugar high for at least a little bit to get through the night. So
exactly. All right. Anything else on Jollywood Nights we want to talk about before we go to the next thing?
No, I think I'm hoping that, you know, it doesn't, or I'm hoping that they don't get the same negative perception of it that it has previously. It sounds like Disney is trying to make it better, but I guess we'll see how it actually plays when it does come around. Because honestly, like you said, I know in the past it's not been like it's not a go-to thing, right? So they're I mean,
reading this though, it feels like they have a lot of entertainment options. Like it feels like it's worth the price of the ticket, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big thing, right? Is, you know, justifying, you know, me spending my money on it, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
right, you ready?
You're wanting to do this, right? I can feel your fingers on the button.
Just let it happen, Trevor.
Okay,
What time is it? Food time. What time is it? Food time. Damon's not here, so our mission is clear. It's food time, food time. Team food is ready unless it has dairy, because it's food time, food time. With Tom and Trevor, this will take forever, because it's food time, food time. Food and wine, we have the time, because it's food time, food time.
All right, so it's food time. We got a couple food things. Yeah.
So first on the menu is the Hispanic and Latin American Heritage Month Foodie Guide for 2024. So, hey, I like some good Latin American food.
I do, and I will mention this started September 15th and it goes till October 15th at Disney World and Disneyland. So so this is going on now as we speak, and you have a couple more weeks to take advantage of this. So we're a week late on it, but you still have time. So
all right.
Let's see what we got here.
So Magic Kingdom Park so this is at Skipper Canteen, is the Dr. Falls signature grilled steak, a hanger steak lomo saltado style, and then roasted peppers, potatoes, and aji amarillo mayonnaise.
Yeah,
interesting.
Okay. It looks good.
Yeah,
even though I don't eat red meat. Have you eaten at Jungle Navigation or Skipper Canteen? Yeah,
I have eaten at Skipper Canteen. I very much enjoyed Skipper.
I like Skipper Canteen. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I went there the first day it was open, so I think it's probably even more different than when I went there last time. So
yeah, and even, you know, since I've been there last, I know the menus changed, but it's a great experience overall, though. Like,
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
What is I see this strawberry drink, but I don't see it listed here because there's a blackberry drink, but that's not. Oh wait, maybe it is that because it's strawberries and.
Yeah, this is at the Connections Eatery in Epcot.
Connections, yeah. So blackberry Capirosca, maybe
that sounds about right.
Yeah. Capirosca, okay, and that's Tito's handmade vodka, Minute Maid lemonade, strawberries, blackberry syrup, and frosted mint syrup. You know, I'm not a big drink guy, but that looks delicious to me.
I mean, give it to me without the vodka, sure. Like, yeah. I'm sure you could probably get it without the vodka.
You probably could, yeah. You could ask for it, yeah. And then over at Sunshine Seasons, they have burrito tacos, which I love burrito tacos. I don't know if you're into burrito. I love burrito tacos.
I mean, okay, but like, when are tacos not good? Just
Oh, no,
throwing
it's
it
fair.
out
It's
there.
fair.
Like I can't think of a time when I do not. I'm actually having tacos for dinner tonight too. So tacos are good.
No,
Yeah.
tacos are always good,
Yes.
and these look very good too. I mean, I like the burrito ones just specifically for the you dip it in. That's the it's not even really a sauce; it's like a broth kind of thing, and that makes it even better.
It's almost like when you get like a French dip roast beef sandwich. It's the same kind of thing, right?
Yeah, if you haven't had burrito before, I will get that all the time. So.
Okay, let me ask you real quick on this because this one comes. So it says served with beef, Monterey Jack, onions, cilantro, and lime served with consomme.
I do it.
So cilantro, are you yay or nay on that? Because it's a very divisive thing.
So I will deal with cilantro if I have to. I am one of those people though that it tastes like soap to me.
Got it. Yeah.
But if I can ask for it not to be on there, I will. I'm also not a big raw onion guy. Like I'll do cooked onions, raw onions though, I'm kind of out. So
that's fair too. Onions are a hard contention for me. Like I will pass on things with lots of onions in them. But so it's funny. I'm on the other side of cilantro where I think cilantro is awesome. I always love stuff with cilantro in it. So
I'll deal with it if it's on something. Like, but if I have the option to have it removed, I will. But it's not my favorite.
Okay. All right.
Watermelon margarita.
Yeah. So we're now. So there's actually not. So Magic Kingdom and Epcot didn't have a lot, and actually, I guess there's not a lot across the board here. So we're over at Disney's Hollywood Studios at ABC Commissary for watermelon margarita.
I had a watermelon margarita when I was on the cruise, actually, because it was like the specialty on the island, and I was like, watermelon margarita sounds pretty good to me. And my wife had this blue drink, so I'm drinking a pink drink, she's drinking a blue drink as we're going around the pool. It just was funny, but I love a watermelon margarita, man. I love watermelon's delicious.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, it's. Alcoholic drinks are not my go-to either, but I feel like a lot of these you could ask for a non-alcoholic version of them and it would still work. Like because I don't need the tequila necessarily.
Yeah,
but I'd still try watermelon sweet and sour, or I guess sweet and sour is alcoholic too, isn't it?
Yeah,
it'd just be watermelon.
Well, no, I don't
lime
think
juice.
No, that's a mixer, right? So
is it okay?
Yeah.
Then that should still work. And then also at ABC Commissary, hey, more tacos. This time, though, it is shrimp.
They look
tacos.
a little uninspired to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty standard shrimp taco. Cabbage slaw, chipotle mayonnaise, mango salsa, served with Mexican rice and black beans, topped with pork and queso fresco. I mean, that's like a standard taco dish right there.
It is.
I feel like, if I'm at Hollywood Studios, like, there's definitely plenty of options for food, but tacos are a safe bet, especially shrimp tacos. Like I know you don't eat shrimp a lot, or at all, but yeah, I mean, shrimp tacos generally work. Like there's nothing wrong with them, but like you said, it's a little uninspired.
Yeah, just a little bit. They didn't do anything fun with it. It's just a straight up shrimp taco.
Okay, so now at Hollywood Brown Derby, chorizo spiced mushroom croquettes. How do you feel about that?
If you remove the mushroom part, I'm great.
Yeah, right. I forgot you don't do mushrooms, but I mean croquettes are good.
Yeah, no, those are one of my favorite things. So. I'm surprised nobody's ever, give me flack for the. I usually say croquetas because one time when I went to, when I was in Miami, I was at a Cuban restaurant and they called them croquetas. But I mean, I think it's croquettes. I think it's either way, right? Like, but I'm surprised no one's giving me a hard time.
Yeah, I've always pronounced them croquettes. I've never been corrected on that. So okay.
Yeah, just some Cuban guy corrected me one time at a Cuban restaurant, and I was like, all right, I'll call him that from now on. And over at Animal Kingdom at Pizza Safari, they have an Encanto cupcake. Okay.
So boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's
okay. There's a lot of icing on it, but again, they did the
little
wafer, printed wafer on it, and it's just a bunch of I don't know.
But hold on though, at least they did more piped decorations, right? It's not just straight up.
Yeah.
Like there's leaves on there, there's butterflies, there's flowers. They did something.
Fair. But I guess, yeah, it's still like, this doesn't even have to be an Encanto cupcake. It could be just anything. It's literally just as soon as you plop the wafer on there, it's an Encanto cupcake. It's like, okay. Right.
Also hinting at the future here, Restaurantosaurus also has the Encanto cupcake.
Yes.
So, by the way, it's a guava and dulce de leche cupcake. Which actually sounds pretty good.
That's okay too. They're not just going with basic like vanilla or chocolate. So yeah, okay, that's all right. That's a little more appealing.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
And
then also, they also have the Cuban burger. So seared Angus burger with the traditional flavors of a Cuban sandwich, including mojo pork, Swiss cheese, pickles, and creamy mustard sauce topped with potato strings.
So they basically made a Cuban, but with the burger.
With with the burger bun. Yeah, but,
that's fine. I mean, why not, right?
and again, also kind of funny that they are playing into the Cuban, like, I don't know if I've ever seen, like, usually Restaurantosaurus I always equate to being like pizza and stuff. It seems like they're trying to up the menu a little bit, knowing that it's going to be moving into like the South Americas.
Well, and it's, I mean, that I'm assuming they're just going to destroy that whole building too. Like, it's not going to fit into the new area. So.
But it's funny that like the menu feels like they're trying to sell on what it's becoming, right?
Yeah, no.
So
yeah.
Okay,
right, let's get down to resorts.
Yeah,
maybe we should only highlight things that we find interesting, Trevor, since we have,
especially new stuff, because there's a lot of returning stuff. So, and of course, the very first new thing here is at Caribbean Beach. There's a pomegranate berry sangria, which again, alcoholic.
But not big drinkers.
Yeah, not really my thing. But okay, Disney Springs.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Emirates always knocking it out of the park.
Yeah. Guava and cheese.
Yeah, good.
Guava and cheese filled meal fuel, I think is how you say that.
I don't know. I need British Bake Off to come back so they can tell me how to say these things.
Yeah. So meal fuel would be, I think it's 1,000, or it's supposed to be like 1,000-fold pastry or something like that. Or that's because meal is like, I believe it's 1,000 in French, if I recall.
1,000 sheets is what it stands for. Yes.
Yeah. So layers of crispy puff pastry, guava mousse, cream cheese mousse, and passion fruit gel. That's this nice. It looks like a wafer cookie, but like a very fancy wafer cookie.
This looks like a mess to eat, by the way. Like as soon as you crunch into that, crumbs just fly in every direction.
It's going to be crumbly, like just incredibly crumbly, but
in a good way though. In a good way. Yeah. In a good way.
And then hey, you touched on street corn, so we got the cilantro food truck.
Dude, I love elote so much.
Yeah, elote on the cob, lime mayo, cheetah cheese, chili lime seasoning, and cilantro, which I know the place is called the cilantro food truck, so I guess you know what you're getting into.
Yeah. Listen, I'll deal with cilantro on elote. I love elote. I typically like, I've had it. I don't love corn on the cob in general, so I prefer it. Like my sister sometimes will make it like off the cob. She'll actually take like put all the ingredients in and take the corn off the cob and do it that way, and it's really good that way. But I mean, traditionally the way you should eat is on the cob. I get it, but it's delicious though. If you haven't had elote, go have that.
Yeah, so that's great food truck option. Going over to Chef Art Smith's Homecoming, the chicken tinga sandwich.
Okay.
So this is a shredded chicken sandwich with cilantro, lime, aioli, caramelized peppers, and onions. So I think this is kind of ticking all the boxes for you.
Yeah, I would eat that. That sounds really delicious. I've talked about it in the show before. I love Homecoming. We've gone there many times, and it's always been very, very good. It has amazing views. It's a great restaurant. So highly recommend. So we should speed this up a little bit because there's a ton on this.
Yeah. Okay. So shocking. Let's see. There is okay.
Should we get ourselves to Disneyland?
Yeah, I'm just going through all there's a lot of alcoholic drinks again.
There really are.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of alcohol. I think the food over at Disneyland though, we should just head over to Disneyland, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So Rancho del Zocalo, which is this is in Frontierland, has the torta cubana, which is breaded steak, sliced ham, panela cheese, jalapeno mayo, guacamole sauce. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know.
This has got like everything going on.
It's a huge sandwich. I don't even think I can fit this in my mouth.
Lettuce, tomatoes, julienne onions on a grilled bolillo.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That is a busy sandwich, but like the onions are just turning me off of it.
So without the onions, though, you'd be all about it, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah, okay. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
And then over at Award Wieners.
Award Wieners. I love Award Wieners is so funny to me. Like just
why is that so funny to you?
Just because it's a play on award winners, which like where it's located in the park. It's just so funny that somebody was like, call it Award Wieners. I don't know.
This is pretty much the same sandwich, just on a different roll.
Is it? I guess it is.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty similar. No
cheese. Or is this no? This is like a tortilla, though. Or I guess that's what you're saying. Is it's like the same kind of thing. It's just in a tortilla instead of on a bun.
Also, like this stuffed pan dulce, the cream-filled pan dulce with macerated berries, like it looks good, but they couldn't have food photography this up a little bit better because it looks like a hot mess.
It actually looks like Play-Doh on the top.
It does. Yeah. I would still, I mean, it looks good. There's no reason why I wouldn't eat it, but it's just kind of funny. That's all.
Yeah. Or like raw dough. Like it looks like they didn't cook it or something, but
it's weird, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
It wasn't just me.
Man. What about, or is this new? So where is this is a popcorn bucket that looks like a sugar skull. Is this a new thing? I don't recall seeing this.
I feel like they had it before, but I could be forgetting. But yeah, it's the skull from, well, it's not from Coco, but obviously it's from Dia de los Muertos, right? So it's those kind of skulls that they do, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're actually called, but
it's a sugar skull.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, because they're usually made out of sugar.
Okay.
But that I like that, and it's funny because, like you said, it is Coco, but it's not exclusive to Coco. But it's definitely kind of a neat Halloween bucket. Or is this a sipper?
Sipper. It's a sipper. Yeah, it's a sipper.
So I thought it was it looked like a popcorn bucket, but
kind of does.
It's a sipper. Yeah.
It's a sipper.
All right. Okay,
can we talk about the quesadilla pizza?
This is in downtown Disney. You're looking,
yeah,
at Naples. Yeah. Okay. All right, go for it.
Neapolitan dough stuffed, topped with fresh mozzarella cheese, slow braised beef burrito, shredded Chihuahua. Is that Chihuahua? Yeah, Chihuahua cheese.
That's Chihuahua cheese. Yeah,
yeah, and topped with diced.
Chihuahua's a place, not just a dog.
I know, I know. I just felt weird saying it. But it also comes with the cup of consomme too, so you can dip the pizza in like you would do it with a taco. That's fantastic.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I mean, so I know you've never been there, but walking. So Naples is. If you're walking from like any of the Disney hotels, like I remember because we would always come out of the Grand Californian, and you have to walk by it on your way to either of the parks, or to the main Esplanade where the parks are. And oh man, the like you could smell them like cooking pizza dough, or just making pizzas. It was the smell coming out of that place is amazing. And yeah, it's
I love the smells of Italian food in general.
Yeah.
So
I mean this would be a good reason to stop there on your way to stop and have lunch there on your way to one of the parks.
I still may be doing a Disneyland trip next year, by the way. So that's still maybe happening. I just don't have it planned yet.
So you may get to experience this someday.
It's possible. It's not. Yeah, we're waiting on dates to do it, but
Right.
it may happen.
Or I don't know if I told you. I think we are planning to go next fall to Disneyland as well. So my wife and I are planning a trip that it'll probably be like 3 or 4 days that we'll be in Disneyland. So.
Mine's probably going to be in the dead of summer. So
okay.
Yeah, I don't know though. I honestly don't know. I'm waiting. So. I'm scrolling down though, Trevor, just for like one more thing on here is the Tres Leches Donuts. Sorry, go ahead. Oh
yeah, I was going to say I'm not seeing a lot else, but I guess this is at the Great Maple Modern Eatery, which is in Pixar Place Hotel. This is my head immediately, like, I remember when it was Paradise Pier, so I'm having a hard time visualizing if like the food there was not great, so I'm glad that they're advertising some new stuff.
I love Tres Leches cake. Like I actually had a Quattro Leches cake one time at same Cuban place I was talking about before. It's just, and I'm like, what's the fourth one?
Well, I mean, so these are donuts with evaporated milk, condensed milk, and cream. So that's your Tres Leches.
Those are 3. Yeah, those are 3.
Which, I mean, that's way too much dairy for me.
Yeah, I think you would explode.
I would at least be down for probably a day and a half if I ate these.
They look good though. They do look good.
They do. Yeah, it's a very, very creamy looking presentation.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I think that's it really for the Latin food, but. The next one I put in here, Trevor, was specifically for you because I know how much you like Pecos Bill, and I thought you might be sad about this.
So I haven't read this yet, and so I'm a little worried because, we so to be fair, we would always go there for the tacos because the thing about the tacos there was that you could just you could pick, it was you pick your meat kind of thing, and so everybody could get what they wanted, right?
Well, they basically made Pecos Bill Chipotle now, so
yes, I'm seeing that. So
which is not a bad thing, I guess, right? You can customize still, right? But you just don't have the tacos.
Yeah, and so it looks like they've moved to bowls, which I feel that's easier because they can just throw everything in a bowl instead of prepping tacos and all that. And to be fair, like the last time we went. I will say this is, ever since they took away the fixings bar,
the taco bar,
the tacos have not been as good because before it was like, you would load up or like you'd be able to get all the, you get the base taco and you could put in whatever you wanted. Whereas the last time it was like, we got like a little thing of like lettuce on the side and some queso and it was, I guess it's been a shell of itself for a while. So it's fair that they're moving to these bowls, which I mean, they look good. They don't
look bad. Yeah.
For your base, like, you can pick like tamales as a base, nachos, rice, or Caesar salad. And then you can choose your protein, which, this is still, they're still kind of following, chicken, pork, and beef. Although I will say the beef is curious to me.
Coca-Cola cherry braised? No, that sounds amazing.
Okay, I've never had Coca-Cola cherry braised.
Oh, I love Coke cherry. So. Oh yeah, that's that's a big thing down south where they'll around here they'll make barbecue sauces with different sodas in them, or they'll cook things in different sodas. Yeah, I bet it's delicious, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not doubting it. It's just. So no longer I would always go for the barbacoa beef for the tacos. So this is replacing. So this is replacing the barbacoa. But then also like green chili pork sounds good, as well as citrus chipotle chicken. Like these are legitimately some good options. So I guess I'm not hurt that they switched those out. Because like you said, it's still like I think that was the big reason that we like going to Pecos Bills was because, everybody could pick what they wanted. And it wasn't like, 2 out of 3 of us found something on the menu and the last person, couldn't, didn't like anything. Right. So, So this is actually better. But then also they do have some entrees on here as well, or different entrees, which I'll admit I've never looked at if they had other entrees because we would just always default to the tacos.
Yeah.
but they've got a double chili con queso burger, which is this is too much.
Dude, this is a lot. That thing looks like a beast.
Yeah, that is a burger. Holy.
Yeah, you got 2 patties, you got chili con carne, you got chipotle queso, you got corn chips with barbecue cheddar seasoned fries, which, by the way, barbecue cheddar seasoned fries sounds amazing. I'll just get that as a side. Give me that.
Yeah. Can you get the fries by them? Oh, you can.
Yeah. I want that.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So I'll get the bowl with the fries, and I'll ignore this monster burger.
There's also a grilled masa flatbread too. So.
Yeah, I guess they love doing flatbreads now. Flatbreads are like the cheap
easy.
Pizza option, right? So
yeah, I mean they're easy to do. This one is interesting though because it's a grilled corn flatbread, which is not something you typically see, with sweet potatoes, stewed pinto beans, plant-based pepper jack cheese, shredded lettuce, pico de gallo, and plant-based lime crema. So this is a whole plant-based meal.
Yeah, note that the pepper jack cheese, it has cheese in quotes.
In quotes, so it's not real cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you can add on chicken, beef, and pork to this if you want. So, but the base is a plant-based option.
Which is nice, yeah, that they're continuing to do the plant-based options. It's good for the people that want to eat plant-based, right? So
yeah, I totally appreciate that. I'm not against plant-based. Like, I will eat plant-based stuff. I'm not exclusively about it, but yeah, it does actually make for some interesting options, right? So, yeah.
They still have the mini churros with chocolate sauce too, which is good because I've gotten those many times at.
I mean, yeah, their mini churros are always a good snack.
I mean, can't go wrong with mini churros. Yeah. Well, was there something else you want to mention on here?
So I will point out the sides. So previously, so I know sides are not really a big feature, but we used to we'd always get a side of taco chips with salsa, right?
Yeah.
That's no longer a thing there, but the sides that have replaced it. So the barbecue cheddar fries sound good. There is charros beans, which are stewed pinto beans topped with pico de gallo and queso fresco, and cilantro lime rice, which honestly, I thought that they were going to kind of ruin this menu, but it's actually better.
Oh, look at that. I thought you were going to be upset about this. This is
and there's the desserts too, the sweet corn mousse. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, wait, this actually
is that a mousse that looks like, I thought that was a real corn on the cob. Is that,
I think that's a mousse that it's meant to look, so it's sweet corn mousse, but
I just assumed that they were doing elote but no, this is dessert.
This is a dessert. Yeah. So
interesting.
So yeah. So, okay. So here's something to think about. People have been talking about Pecos Bills turning into a Tiana's type thing because it's right next to Tiana's. Do you looking at this menu and there's definitely been some love put into this.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it was long overdue. Like Pecos Bills, I feel, has been struggling for a while. And as much as, like I said, we've always liked it because it's been a good go-to with different options. It seems like they've acknowledged that.
Yeah.
But they've actually improved the menu. Like this actually, I'm sure my wife's going to listen to this episode and she's going to be devastated at first, but then, we'll talk about it. And it's, this is actually a lot better. I was worried that they were going to just destroy the things that I liked about Pecos Bills, but it looks like they're actually offering better versions of it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I always like customizable stuff because as a picky eater, it's nice when I can customize things,
Yeah, and just for families in general, like I said, it's great that every restaurant has 3 or 4 things, but there are plenty of situations where you decide on somewhere to eat and everybody looks at the menu and it's 2 people will find like I said, my family of 3, it's 2 of us will be like, yeah, we found something, and then the third person's like, oh, there's nothing really here that I want, or I guess I'll try this. This is why we always go to Pecos Bills, is that it's chicken, beef, and pork is hey, you pick your protein, everybody has different preferences. But then, the thing about the tacos was everybody could do the tacos the way they want. But the bowls are kind of the same thing. It's you can pick how you want your bowls to be done.
Yeah.
And everybody gets what they want, which, when you're at Disney, it does go a long way to, keeping keeping the peace in the family when you're not when you aren't fighting over the meals, right? Don't tell me I'm wrong about this.
No, you're right. Yeah, no, you're totally right. You're totally right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they're acknowledging that Pecos Bills is a place that, should have some flexibility to the menu and should allow for people to, pick what they want, because I think that's been a lot of people's feedback is that, Disney has been good at offering stuff, but, offering flexible meals in the park it's a hard thing to do. And
it is. Yeah.
This is one of those places that, it is kind of, it's kind of a savior for, getting everybody to sit down and eat something, because you also don't necessarily realize that, people are just hangry when fights are breaking out.
That's true. That's true. See, luckily
if you're hangry, go to Pecos Bills if you're hangry.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky for me, my daughter's still in the chicken nugget phase, so I can pretty much go at any restaurant at Disney. It's they all have that, so works out. All right, well, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. That ended on a much higher note than I thought it would, because
I was worried that it was going to end on a low note, because I know how much you love Pecos Bill as an option. Because let's be honest, there are not a lot of good quick service options at Magic Kingdom. You think there would be, but there aren't.
And even to your point about, chicken nuggets and stuff, we could go to Cosmic Rays and, when my son was younger, same kind of thing, it was easier to, we could just find chicken nuggets and that was fine. But as he's gotten older, he's, finding his own tastes and stuff like that. And, the fast food stuff doesn't always work for him. He's, he's becoming pickier, not pickier, but, realizing that, chicken nuggets don't always do it for him. So, like I say, Pecos Bills has definitely become, a go-to for us over the years, because just like I said, the flexibility is there, and I'm glad that it is still there. So I'm looking forward to that on my next trip. I'll have to try a tamale bowl.
We'll have to get your review.
Yeah. And maybe I'll get a sweet corn thing too and see how that pans out. The fake sweet corn. Okay. All right. Let's, wrapping this up. So as usual, if you guys want to reach out to us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys and, hearing your own take on, stuff that we talked about on the show, and, your own trip reports, asking questions, all that kind of stuff. We're always available by email, but we are also on social media. So you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast, and Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. If you are on Facebook, we mentioned it earlier in the episode, we do have a Facebook group called Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, where we've got people that are far smarter than us to talk about, as I said, to talk about, I don't know why I did that. But to talk about, the stuff that we talked about on the show. They, we love having good conversations about Disney. It's not a place where, some Disney groups can be very, bad about, telling people that they're wrong or whatever. Everyone's very cool in our group. Everyone's very, happy to share in the experience of Disney and DVC. So, if you're wanting to, talk about, your DVC trip coming up, or, get other people's opinions, it's a good place to look. So, please check out our group. If you'd like to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out our merch there. We got a lot of great stuff. Maybe if you're looking for some shirts for your next trip, and, hey, if you're on a trip and, you're wearing the merch, snap a pic and, put it in the group. We love seeing people, sporting the merch as they're, doing their Disney thing. So, please have a look at our store if you are looking for some merch. And similarly, we also have a Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and look at our different levels of Patreon support, which have exclusive Patreon or a Patreon logo that you can only get on there. And also all of our Patreon supporters get access to the Discord server, which is yet another place that, we have great conversations about Disney, but also, there's sometimes random conversations that go on there. It's just, again, just great places to come in and talk about all things Disney. So, please check that out if you're looking for a good Discord server. Last but not least, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere that you can leave us a review, leave us a 5-star review, because it does actually help more people find the show. And we'd love to get more listeners on the show, just because we feel it's good to get more people aware that we are out there. And we also do love hearing what people think about the show. So if you can leave us a review on any of those platforms, please do. We do read those reviews. We talk about them on the show. So we do love hearing your feedback.
Yeah, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast, and you'll be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any place you can find podcasts, you can find us. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcasts for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own, so please consult with a Disney cast member or DVC representative for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to our sponsors, DVC Rental Store, and of course, World of DVC, for continuing to sponsor the show. Please check them out for any of your DVC needs. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion and, of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.